Hey guys, happy 2025. And today's video, I'm going to look at some of my comic goals from 2024. And we're going to look at a list that I put together for some new comic goals for 2025. But first, I got to finish cleaning up a little bit from the holiday season. So stick around, we'll check some of that stuff out. All right, guys, now that I got all the decorating from Christmas all taken care of, and I tried to change up the studio a little bit, we can begin the new video. Today's video, I am going to be taking a look at my goal list from the past year and actually looking at 2025. Some of the stuff that I'm thinking about putting on that list and going after. But before we get to that, if you guys could go ahead and click the like, click the subscribe, and let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of this video and some of my goals that I come up with. I really appreciate it. And let's get to it. So yeah, I just finished decorating, pulling down the decorations. And as you guys can see, let me move around here so you guys, I like to change up the studio a bit, you guys, to give you guys something to look at while I babble about, what comics I found or what stuff I'm unboxing. So yeah, I tried to change it up a little bit. I try to do that every couple videos for you guys. As I get new stuff, I put it up back there and I want to look at it. So yeah, there's a couple new things back there, including Christmas gifts. I got some Christmas gifts down there. But yeah, so let's talk about our goal list, our comic goal list. So originally, this list, when I first started the channel, I came up with, I called it my Grail scale. And basically that's what it was. It was like big grails that I kind of wanted to go after. They're grails that I thought about, that I always wanted. It's kind of one of the things that got me back into comics a couple years ago. And I gave myself a little bit more time since I started the channel in like October. I wanted to give myself a little bit more time because some of these books I put on this list were pretty big books. They were more, like I said, grails and not so much goals, comic goals. And I think the problem with them was that they were a little bit big. I had big eyes, and that's not to say that I'm still going to go after some of these. Needless to say, I did not complete all that list, and I wanted to go over what I did get. And, I did, like I said, I gave myself a little bit extra time to go after these. But yeah, I think I made them a little bit difficult. Like I said, they're more grails and ongoing type of, quest that I do want to get. Now, I am impressed that I did get a lot of these goals that I wanted here, and I did get my big ones. Also, another thing I want to bring up is don't be afraid to change your goals, your comic goals. Our interests change in the hobby, right, guys? So don't feel guilty about, well, I don't want to get that anymore. Or, it could be things that financial reasons. It could be that you just can't get to shows, or you're limited on your local stores of what their stock is. So be flexible, I guess. Overall, is when you make these lists, that it's okay to change it up a bit. And don't feel bad. This is just to give, these lists that we come up with, guys, are just to give you some kind of direction in your collecting hobby. So and that's all right. It's totally right. I changed up my original list a little bit, and I will go over that. So I am going to try and put a graphic here, but I do have all the books that I did get, so I'm going to be showing those off. So let me scoot over a little bit, and I'll pop up a graphic right about here. I got to go this way. And yeah, we'll take a look at some of the stuff I did. Like I said, I think this was a little hopeful with some of these grails that I came up with. And so real quick, these weren't really in any kind of order too. I don't like to keep in them order. Probably the only one would be my number one pick, my biggest pick. And it's probably my main goal for collecting. But I'm going to just run through these real quick, and you guys can see the graphic, what I got. So one of the early things that I wanted to get off of this grail was uh, this one right here, Aquaman #1. Now, I've showed this one off before on the channel, and it actually has a little bit of an asterisk. This is a book that I got. This isn't their original cover. This was a reproduction of the cover. I don't know if it's like a super high quality uh, reproduction, a glossy like copy, Xerox, whatever you want to call it. That it looks pretty good. They got this from, maybe they had just a cover and not the comic, and they reproduced it. So Aquaman #1 may upgrade eventually. I don't care about it. I was able to flip through this, read it, and enjoy it. So I'm okay with that. Now, Aquaman will be coming back up on my list for 2025. But yeah, I was very excited to get #1 of this. Came out in 1962. So that was one of the ones from my original list. Now, next up here, grabbing this, like I said, no particular order. This is one that originally it started as Ghost Rider's first appearance. Now, somewhere along that year and 2 months, I changed it up a bit. Like I said, be flexible, guys. I still do want his first appearance, and that is probably going to come up on the new list. But this is #1 of his first series. Now, I switched it up because I was collecting the first series, and I was getting real close to the end. And I figured, you know what? I might as well just try to find #1 of this to complete the series. Now, I did finish the series. It was one of my completed quests for the year. Is I have the full run right towards the end of the year too. I think November I finished it off. This was the last issue I needed. So I switched it up where I was like, okay, I'm going to get #1 of Ghost Rider Volume 1 instead of as a first appearance. So I switched up my list a little bit, and I'm okay with that. Because, like, I am still going to go after that goal of finding his first appearance. That's going to probably be a side quest or just a fun quest type of thing, long-term goal type of thing. So Ghost Rider #1 was on the list. And then what I like to do, too, is I like to do, like, runs. I'm a run collector in a way. I do try to read issues here and there, but when I come to that break, it drives me crazy. So I do like to fill runs, whether it's a full series or just a story arc. So one of the things getting back into collecting comics, this was a longer term one, was finishing off my Chris Claremont run of X-Men. Now, the Claremont run, he started off at, it was 94. Now, these were a lot of big books in those early days of the new X-Men. And I did finish getting all the Claremont runs. The last ones I needed, I got from my buddy Dan's X-Men Comics on IG. I'll put some little links so you guys can find Dan, because he does sell comics online sometimes. And he had, these were the 2 last books I needed for Claremont, number 109 and 112. Now, what was cool about these ones is they were both UK Pens editions. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's different. I'll get those. Very cool. John Byrne art. So these were the last two I needed to finish off Claremont's run. And oddly enough, I got to the point where I was picking up here and there older ones from, under 94 that I'm like, you know what? I might as well just go after the full run of X-Men. I think I am down at this point under 40 I need. Granted, a lot of those are the ones under 20 that are big books. So we'll see. That may come up on my list too. We'll see. I don't know. Next up for completing goals, another one that I wanted to finish off. And this one, I think, was the one that really got me back into collecting comics. I'm a big fan of Wolverine. If you guys know me, know the channel. I have them all over the place around me. Wolverine is one of my favorite characters, and I wanted to finish his original run. I did do that, and then I was like, you know what? I want to finish the other run. So what I ended up doing, this was I think a big quest, but I pulled it off. I completed all his volumes, all the regular volumes, 1 through 7. And I'm not including his ongoing, which is volume 8. That's going right now, the new series. But I have 1 through 7 from 82 to, let's see, 2024 is his solo volumes. That's a lot of issues, guys. But I ended up getting it. And the last one I needed was this one from volume 4. It's Wolverine 1000. It's kind of a special issue. It didn't go in any order with the regular series, volume 4. Volume 4 was a weird series because I think it started with normal numbers and then they jumped it to legacy numbers. And then this one came. So it was kind of all over at that time. This came out. I believe it was 2011. And yeah, this was the last one I needed. I couldn't find it anywhere local, couldn't find it at any shows. I ended up finding it at mycomicshop.com. Ding, ding. I know a lot of us love that place. So found that. And another one that I've been dying to find was this variant cover. I got it for a really good price there. So I just bundled them up. This is a variant cover from, I think this is volume 5. That's a homage to old pre-code horror. So yeah, very cool to finish that off. So I have every volume issue of Wolverine. My wife asked me, so what's next? I don't know. I don't know if I want to go after miniseries, one shots. I have a lot of that stuff already. Wolverine, I compare to Spider-Man in the sense that he has a lot of issues out there. Whether he was a guest appearance or team ups or something like that, there's a lot out there. So I don't know if I want to necessarily go after them. I'm going to get them if I don't have them, but there's so much. There's so much, guys. So we'll see about that one too. Something that I want to think about for the future, maybe side quest, that type of thing. But okay, so that was that one. Next up, is probably the last one that I did accomplish off this list. And this was the big one for me. And this was, I wanted to get, once again, Wolverine related. I wanted to get his early appearances. I've always wanted his first appearance. And I know some people argue over his first appearance. Was it in the Foom issue, which that is on the list. Recently discovering that I need that now. It's one of those things that instead of arguing, just get them all, right? So the main ones though I wanted to get, and I've had these for years and years, the reprints of this, is I wanted to get his first 2 appearances. They're both in Hulk. So I ended up getting 180. I found this at the local store. It's a raw version. I'm perfectly fine with that one. I love that it's raw. And then for his first cover appearance, a lot of people consider this his first full appearance. You got 181 Hulk, beautiful cover. I found this my local store. The owner, his father, had a bunch of investment books, and he was looking to sell some of them for money and all that because he bought them as investments. Well, I like the fact that I bought. Yes, it's slabbed. I'm not a big slab fan. But like I said, I have tons of reprints of these 2 books that if I really want to read it, I just read the reprints. But this is kind of one of those legacy books that you want to preserve, right? And the fact that the gentleman that I bought this from, he got this 20 years ago. Yeah, probably about 20 years ago when CGC was first doing slabbing. So I know there wasn't a lot. I know early in the year there were shenanigans with this book and some other books. So that's one of the things I'm always hesitant on slabs, especially big slabs, is that chance you take with that. This, I knew the guy personally. I knew he bought it. It got slabbed and all that stuff years and years ago. So I knew what exactly I was buying. So I was more than happy to spend the money on this. I saved up for this pretty much for 8 months. Guys, every paycheck I was putting money aside in a separate account that if I came across it, I'd be ready to jump on it. So this was probably my biggest goal of the year. Like I said, I gave it a little bit more time because sometimes these are big books. Now, the last 2 on my list, I had 7 on my list. The last 2, Let's talk about the ones that I didn't complete. Now, the last two were X-Men 1 from 1963. Right, a huge book, huge book. Like I said, I think, go after the rest of the X-Men run. And Giant Size X-Men came out in 1975. First appearance of the new X-Men, Colossus, Storm, Nightcrawler. Uh, we got to see Banshee again. We got to see Wolverine again. Um, so that's on the list. These are two big books in the whole X-Men line that I want to get eventually. I have tons of reprints of these, so I'm okay with it being a long-term goal, long-term quest. But yeah, those were two big books that I did not get. They're super expensive, especially that number one. But like I said, I have, three different versions of Giant Size X-Men. This one's cool because it's a tribute, and I got it signed by Joshua Cassara. It was a book that a lot of different artists and writers worked on. So I think this is going to be one of those books I take to shows to get different creators to sign. But I mean, I got the straight reprint. I have an older reprint that came out in the 80s. So it's like, if I really want to read it, I can read it. And the same thing with this one. I have, the straight reprint of this. I have, the Marvel Milestone edition. I think I have it in Omni, like two different Omnis, I think I have. So I can read the book. Both of these books are going to be one of those ones that I save up for, and eventually, if I find a good deal, I can jump on it. Or, it might be one of those things that somewhere down the line, I may turn some of my collection into money for these big books. I might sell them, trade them, that type of thing. So yeah, these are going to be some long-term goals, I think. But yeah, like I said, I think I got a little bit big eyes on this list. So let's actually talk about my new list, a new list going forward. Now, I did come up with an idea, like I mentioned, long-term goals for 2025. Now, I'm going to keep Giant Size X-Men number 1 on the list for long term, and you never know when you're going to find it. And I also want to work on more of that X-Men run. I'm not going to put it on the list. It's just going to be one of those long-term goals that I'm going to, kind of actively look for them, whether I'm at a show or a store. I kind of, this new goal list, I kind of came up with things that I won't get as distracted because they're going to be big books. They're going to be expensive books type of thing, that it's like, I want more bang for my buck type of thing. So I kind of, I guess, lowered the bar a little bit, that it's still going to be fun to actively find, look for these things. And then I think what I want to do in the new year and is pull away a little bit from buying newer books. I've already started doing that with all the different variants that they come out with. I'm trying to limit myself. If it's a book I really like the X-Men, and they have a bunch of cool variants, I'm going to pick just one, guys. I'm going to pick it based on maybe the artist or the character, right? Because you just, with the prices on books now, and I'll come straight out and say it, they're getting up there, man. It's getting hard to collect these, where I can go to a show or a local store and go in their dollar bins and get a lot more for $1. Yes, they're loved, but I can still enjoy them just as much. So now, one of the other things I want to do, and this kind of tack on to keep working on X-Men, is I got a couple things that I'd like to get in the collection. One of the things I'd like to get is, I'd love to get a Golden Age book. I don't have any. I don't have anything that's older than probably mid 60s. I'd like to get something from the 50s, the 40s, whether it's a horror book, maybe it's, an early superhero type of book, like a guy that we know of, like Submariner, Captain America. It's one of those things, though. It's like, I'm going to have to probably save up for something and just have it aside for that kind of moment. Because they can be pricey books. Any of those books from that age are going to be pricey. They're going to be scarce. So some of the things I'm thinking about is, like, I've seen different artwork, and maybe I'll pop something up here, guys. Some Shadow comics. I've seen a couple covers that just art wise blew me away. I thought it was really cool. Or, Black Terror from early 40s. I saw 2 issues of that where he's fighting Nazis. I think that was super cool to see that. It's, a little piece of history, guys. So that's kind of why I'm interested in that. Other things, maybe a horror book. There's plenty of them out there. There's one that I know I really like that's from Journey into Fear. It's number 16, actually, and it's got a mailman that's a skeleton on it. So I thought that was kind of cool, and that's from the 50s. So these are just some ideas for, an old book that I'd like to get in the collection. Like I said, these ones are going to be a little bit pricey, so I'll probably have to save up for them. That usually they can range anywhere from like 200 to, I think I saw it like $800, $900. So it's kind of a big investment, but I think it would be neat to have in the collection. By no means am I going to chase any of these runs. Now, I also have some other fun ones that I might put on this list. These are things that may switch some of the other ones out because I thought they'd be fun to look for. I'd like to find first Scooby-Doo in comics. I'm a big fan of Hanna-Barbera. I grew up with Scooby-Doo, and I looked it up. There's a couple out there. Marvel had one in 77 as their first printing of Scooby-Doo, and those are easily, I've seen them average like $60. Gold Key in 1970 is another first appearance. I think this is officially his first appearance because I think the cartoon debuted in 68, 69. Now that one I've seen anywhere from 500 to 1K based on the condition. So that one's, we'll see. I may go through the cheaper ones. I think recently I came across Scrappy Doo's first appearance. That one's by Archie Comics in the 90s. Once again, it was about like $50. So, those ones might be fun, easy ones to go after, like alternatives, I guess you want to call it. But let's jump into my new list for 2025. I'm going to move over a little bit because I'm going to throw up some book images so you guys can check out what I'm talking about because I won't have them to show you guys. So my goals for 2025, no particular order. I'll just run down these. Once again, something I'd like to do is finish some runs. I'm a run collector, like I said. I'd like to finish Tomb of Dracula run. I have all the big books. Actually, one of them's right back here. I did get a couple months ago #1 from my buddy Chris at Cheddar Comics. He had it appear in an IG live sale. So I'd like to do that. I only have like 12 left. They're basically run fillers. I've seen a bunch of them at my local store. That's the Comic Buying Center. They're higher grade though. So I don't know if I want to spend that much on that many books for run fillers type of thing. So I am going to take my time and try and fill this one out. Next up, I'd like to get a #1 Submariner from the 60s, basically, as his first solo series that he had. I do have about over half of the series, but yeah, I have a reprint of it from Tales to Astonish with him, John Buscema art. I'd like to get an actual original one because I have a lot of the other originals in that first 10 issues. Got to get #1, right? It's not a super pricey book, but it's a fun book. I think it would be a little more attainable. Like I said, I mentioned that this new list, I'd like to make it where it was a little bit easier to get some of these books. So I don't feel so, deflated type of thing. And I don't get so distracted because they're big books that it's like I have to work up to, saving up for them. So next up, I want to get Detective Comics 359, came out in 1967. Now, if you guys don't know, this is the origin and first appearance of Barbara Gordon as Batgirl. I do have this in like a Omni collection, and I came across it a couple times in some sales, and I think it got me thinking I do want that book. I didn't think it was attainable for me price wise, but I've recently seen that there's a lot of them out there that they are attainable. So I'm going to put that one on the list. That one might be one of those ones that I think jumps in and out because I think it's going to be a little bit harder to find that one. It's Batgirl. it's a popular book, right? So it may take me a little bit of time to find the right one for my collection. Next up, I have Marvel Spotlight number 5. This was from my last list, and I shifted. Uh, Marvel Spotlight number 5 came out in 1972, and this is the first appearance of Ghost Rider. Like I said, I still want to keep this on the list. I kind of want to still go after it because I did switch up a little bit so I can finish out the big volume of Ghost Rider number 1. So this one's still on the list. This is another one that I think may shift a little bit depending, because I did have a hard time finding this one in the last, I would say, 8 months. I was actively looking for this. Could not find a raw one anywhere. I see it slabbed a lot, and price wise, I don't want to pay that much for a book that I can't even flip open. I am a raw guy. I like my raw books. I like being able to look through them and look at the art, take it all in. So that one, I ended up not really completing it because of I couldn't find it, and 2, because I did do the switch to complete all volume 1. So that one's still on the list. And then I also want to find Conan number 1. Another book I have a reprint of, but I don't have the original. I want the original. I'm so close to finishing all of that volume 1 Marvel Conan run. I think I have 34 issues left, and they're all fillers. They're all late 80s, 90s that I need to fill. But I do need like 2 or 3 from that first year of it out. Number 1's one of them. The other one's like number 8, 9, 15, something like that. And then I'll have a straight run all the way into the 80s. So that's one that's on my list that I really would like to get, is Conan number 1, an original copy, not the reprint. And then finally, one of the last things I have on the list, and this may be probably my main one. Like last list was, first appearance of Wolverine. This may be my main one that I want to go after. So I may be a little bit picky with this. I don't know. We'll see. I know it's a little bit easier to get. It's just finding the right one, right condition, right price. Aquaman number 29/35. Now, I haven't decided if I want to get both of them, or is there one that I'm more desiring to get for this list. I'm thinking 35, because that's the first appearance of Black Manta. Now, I've seen this one a lot come up. Prices have been all over the place. Conditions been all over the place. So this, again, is going to be one of those ones that I think is going to take me a little bit of time to find. And then 29 is the first appearance of Ocean Master. So these two may flip-flop. I don't know. It depends what I find, type of thing. I may end up just getting them both, and one of them is going to be an extra one on the list. But in the same time, I have all those little side quests that I'm going to be going after, the fun ones like Scooby-Doo, continuing X-Men, still looking for giant size X-Men, that kind of stuff. So I do have plenty of side ones. I'm still actually chasing Supergirl too. So, but that is my list for 2025, guys. Let me know down below what you guys think. Are my eyes too big again? Do you think I'll be able to pull this off and get all these books? I think only time will tell. I think midway through the year, by summertime, when the cons are happening, I'll probably have a better feel for where I am on these. And that's probably when I'll shift, because that's actually when I shifted on this last list, was in the summertime. I saw cons, I saw prices, what things were going for. So I guess I'm going to have to be flexible. And I think that's the thing we all have to be when we make these comic goal lists, is to be flexible, because you never know what you're going to find. You never know. You may come across a big deal, So, I don't want to say that's going to be distracting, but it just gives you direction, right? It's about having fun. If you have to throw the whole list out, throw the whole list out. Start over, or do something different. You never know. Our tastes change from, 1 month to the next month. They don't have to be the same. But yeah, that's all I got for this list, you guys. Let me know down below what you guys think of my list. We'll wrap this up and get out of here, you guys. So if you could, just a reminder, give me a thumbs up, a subscribe, and comment down below what you guys think of the list. What are you looking for on your 2025 comic goal list? And while you're at it, head over to Instagram, give me a follow and a like some of the posts over there, some of the stuff I'm putting up. I'm kind of trying to change up a little bit my content for 2025. I'm trying to do more shorts, I guess. I kind of neglected it the last year. So I'm trying to do that. So please give me a like up if you see something that you like. I appreciate that. But that is all I got for this video, you guys. I'm starting to get a little long in this goal list. And until next time, guys, happy questing out there. Happy New Year. And we'll see you next time.